Hey, what's up guys? Today I'm doing a review on the TK Boxing Horsehair Pro Fight Gloves. So check it out. Hey, what's up guys? Carlo here. Today I'm doing a review on the TK Boxing Horsehair Pro Fight Gloves. I got mine in white, 10 ounces. It is a lace-up only model because it is a fight glove. You can also get this in 8 ounces with a total of 4 colors to choose from. Aside from this white, you can get it in black, red, or blue. It's made of full genuine leather on the exterior. You also have a polyester satin liner on the inside of the hand compartment. And it also uses horsehair and foam over the knuckles that is soft in firmness. For those of you that are wondering, yes, this is a puncher style glove. And if I were to compare it to another glove that's currently out there that you guys may have already used in training, this really reminds me of the Everlast MX gloves. Actually, it reminds me of the Everlast MX gloves, but a more comfortable version of those. Also, there's no actual tag that's stitched on the inside liner to indicate where the gloves are manufactured on either glove. But my best guess is that these probably are going to be made in Pakistan. And one last thing is these gloves are California commissioned approved. So if you're a pro fighter and you're having your fight in California, you can wear these gloves as they are approved by the local commission. Now, from a design standpoint, if I were to compare these in like proportion to other 10-ounce fight gloves, I'd say that they're probably medium to more smaller and compact size. So me personally, I prefer that. I like more compact fitting gloves. Not that I haven't said that in other videos before, but these definitely run more on the compact side. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean that they're uncomfortable on the inside because they're smaller. They just have a smaller outside frame, if that makes sense. So I definitely like that. The leather on here has more of a satin finish. It's not super glossy. It's not matte. I'd say it's right there in between. You do have TK Boxing written vertically on the back of the glove. You also have the TK logo right here at the bottom of the thumb side of the inner wrist support. And you also have a slogan handcrafted with honor on that inside grip bar. The back of the wrist support has a flat cuff, and you're looking at about maybe an inch of padding. That's a combination of what feels like an EVA style foam on the top, and then the foam that on the inside liner that goes up against your skin is definitely on the softer side, obviously for comfort reasons. On the inside of the wrist, you have, I'd say, about a ½ inch of that soft foam padding on the inside. So when you lace up the gloves, it acts like a splint system. You do have long, flat laces with plastic tips at the end. I do feel that the laces are good and long enough. They're not too short, nor are they too long to where it feels like you just have a ton of laces that you have to wrap your gloves around. Now, obviously, if you're using this for an actual sanctioned bout as a pro, you'll get this all laced up, and then they'll tape the gloves off and then initial them to approve the gloves that they inspected them. But the laces on here are a good size. You do have that polyester satin liner in gray, and it also has a tag on the inside that shows you what the weight is, as well as the TK Boxing. So 10 ounces right there. You do have perforated holes, which are kind of in a unique spot with this glove. I don't know if it makes really much of a difference when you're using them. I personally can't tell, but you do have the perforated holes right here on the bottom portion of the inner portion of the thumb. Typically, it's right here on the inside, but for right here, they put them at the bottom. You also have the perforated holes, which I have seen before on the side right here, as well as some right here above the grip bar. So you do have ventilated holes on both sides as well as above the grip bar. The grip bar in here, I'd say, is a good size, and I'd say is about medium in firmness. And then lastly, you do have an attached thumb. The other good thing about this glove is that you don't have any seams or stitching on the back that separates the thumb from the back of the glove. Sometimes you have companies that have obviously different colored thumbs if you're depending on the styling of the glove. And oftentimes you'll have the seam right here that kind of comes up and splits. And that's another area where something can potentially happen, like the thread can come loose, or something can, if they're punching their opponent and it happens to have a little bit of a split between, you can cut your opponent, because obviously when you're punching at full speed and force, even if the thread isn't sharp, just with enough force that you apply, it can actually break the skin open. So it's nice that you don't have the stitching right there, which is not needed, especially if you're not, having two separate colors. So there you have it. Definitely more on the compact side for both gloves. Quality-wise, I'd say that these gloves are pretty good. I'd say that the biggest opportunity with these gloves is going to be the stitching, and not so much from a I guess durability standpoint. I would just say more from just if I'm looking at it from my naked eye and looking how they stitch it, like right here at the back of the hinge point, you can see it definitely could be straight, more straight coming across. The other areas that could have been done better, I would say, or you can start seeing some pulling of the leather, is right here on the outside edge. So I can kind of give you guys a close-up of that stitching. The inside liner is good. There's no exposed foam there, no issues with that. But again, I would say just the stitching, where you can see it's kind of pulled through and starting to separate where the leather's at. Where the index finger, or should I say the index and the thumb meet, looks okay. And I'll show you the right glove as well. Again, the two areas I would say was just that back hinge point on the back of the wrist, as well as the edges of the bottom of the wrist support, where it just kind of pulls at the leather. Are probably really the main areas. And I mean, if that's really the biggest concern, then that's not a bad thing at all. In terms of weight, the gloves are almost on point with weight. So they're both obviously advertised as a 10-ounce glove. The left glove came in at 9.8 ounces and the right was at 9.7. So again, I'm not sure if it goes by, depending on the commission, on what they determine the discrepancy can be. If you're, a half ounce off of the advertised weight, they won't, that's the maximum plus or minus, or if you're over that. So I would assume that there is a little bit of leeway if they're advertised as a 10-ounce glove that the commission gives, but I don't know what that number would be. But again, 9.8, 9.7. So in terms of weight, they're pretty much identical with each other. I'd say the gloves are pretty well balanced, considering that they're a fight glove. So you're really not really concerned in terms of putting a lot of padding, because you're trying to make sure that the glove weighs in at the perfect weight. So you have to be kind of strategic in the way you place the padding on the inside of the glove. But in terms of balance, the gloves are pretty good. They're not overly top heavy or bottom heavy. The leather has held it pretty nicely as well. It's a little dirty around the knuckle area, and you can see some kind of wrinkling around there. But outside of that, the leather has held it pretty nicely. And then symmetry, putting the gloves next to each other, they're pretty much the same height and width. You can see that the logos are pretty much on point, not too tall, not too low. You don't have one that's too close to the thumb or on the outside of the glove. Having them next to each other on the outside, you can see that the bend of the hand compartment, the pre-curved bend, is pretty much the same. And you're looking at probably about 1.5 inches in thickness of foam. And right here, you can see the back of the wrist padding is pretty much identical, as well as the thumb position as well. So there you have it. Just kind of showing you guys how they look next to each other. All right, comfort wise, sliding your hand to the glove, probably one of my favorite things about the glove, aside from the padding, is going to be the comfort. Extremely well broken in. And I mentioned earlier in the video that if I were to pick a glove that I can compare this to, a glove that's already out there that probably the majority of you guys already know, are going to be the Everlast MX gloves, which kind of has that reputation of being a puncher's glove with zero foam padding. I mean, with relatively no resistance over the knuckles, right? It's been a kind of a controversial glove over the years, and probably one of the more famous videos is when Marcos Maidana fought Mayweather, and Maidana was wearing his MX gloves, and Mayweather's camp called them out during their inspection of the gloves and said that there is no foam padding over the knuckles. Well, these to me are very similar to those, in my opinion. Very, they do have foam in here, but it's very soft and pliable. Yes, I've used these for training, so they softened up a little bit, but not by much. So for those of you that want that, that punch style glove, you're definitely going to get it with this. But again, because it's horsehair and foam, you can open and close your hand with no resistance whatsoever. I mean, it's super easy to open and close. And a lot of people that love to catch and parry and move shots over and kind of frame their opponent or whatnot, these are perfect for that. Thumb position is perfect as well. They give you an ample amount of room on the entry point of the base of the thumb for your thumb to go into the glove. So I love the way that feels. Wrist support, wrist area feels good. Obviously the gloves are more compact so they don't drop down too far on your forearm. And finger compartment feels good as well. You can make a fist with no problem whatsoever. Nice tight fist. You can definitely feel the grip bar. If anything, it would have been nice for that grip bar probably be a little bit more firm. I feel like it's a little bit more on the medium density side. A little bit more firm, and you could probably venture to say maybe a little bit bigger, but outside of that, it feels really good. Thumb positioning, again, is perfect with this. Nice parallel thumb. When I do make a fist, I don't feel like my thumb gets jammed or it brings down the tip of it. So when you do land your punches, your thumb jams into the end of the thumb compartment. Finger compartment is wide enough, but not too narrow. So I feel like my fingers aren't crowded on the inside, nor are they too loose to where I feel like my hands scoot around on the inside of the hand compartment. And the liner definitely feels good. Obviously, you'll have hand wraps on if you're using this in a fight, so you're not really going to feel the liner too much. But if you do, the liner definitely feels good. The foam is about 1.5 inches on the back of the thumb, and the foam I'd say is about medium in density, and it feels really comfortable as well. So, if I were to say that was what was my favorite feature about this glove, is going to definitely be how comfortable they are. And for me, that's the most important thing, is comfort, because if you're not comfortable in your gloves, you're probably not going to want to wear them. Protection and performance-wise, this is definitely a puncher style glove. So these work amazing. I'm not a pro fighter, but if I was, obviously I would use these for like mitt work and then obviously in a fight. But these are amazing for mitt work. If you're, with your coach or your trainer and you do a lot of mitt sessions and you want a glove that you can really feel connected to when you're throwing your hands on the mitts, you'll definitely get it with these gloves. Now, for those of you wondering if you can use these on the heavy bag, technically, you can use any glove on the heavy bag. Should you? That really boils down to your personal preference. I will warn you that these are definitely softer over the knuckles, so you will feel every shot come through. And when you land, you can definitely feel your knuckles pierce through extremely flat punch surface that conforms to whatever you're punching, and they feel great. But my warning to that and my disclaimer is, for more densely filled heavy bags, you're definitely going to feel the shock through your knuckles. If you have a hand injury or having any kind of irritation, be wary of that. If anything, what I typically do when I have these softer style gloves, if I have any issues with my hands, and I'm committed to using the gloves for whatever reason that week, I'm like, oh yeah, I want to use these gloves no matter what. I'll supplement it with some Skulltex or some type of gel knuckle pad. That way, I give myself just a little layer of extra protection with the gloves, so that you save your knuckles definitely in terms of longevity. But do keep that in mind. Definitely a puncher style glove. If you have a pair of Everlast MX laying around while you're watching this video, put those on, and that would be pretty much how these feel, except these are a little bit more comfortable than the MX in my opinion. Better thumb position, and the piping is better on these compared to the MX. But yeah, that's what I would compare the actual feeling of this padding to, are those gloves. And I like to use that as a reference point. Cost-wise, these gloves are currently $150, which is not a bad deal, all things considered. With the prices of boxing equipment now, I definitely think it's a fair price. I'd say a good deal would have been like about $100 for these gloves. 150s is not bad. It's not great either. I don't. If these were like $200, and I definitely would say no, definitely not. But 150, I think is a decent price. Fair price, decent price. 100, if I can get these on sale, then yeah, I definitely would pull the trigger. This is a type of glove for those of you that, from a training perspective, if you're looking for something for mitt work, you want something with pop, you want something compact, and you want to feel all your punches go through, then this is definitely that glove for you. So if you guys have any questions or comments, you guys know what to do. Put them down below. I'll put the link in the description box. You can find these TK Boxing Horsehair Pro Fight gloves. See you guys later. Peace.